Hi everybody, it's nice to see so many of you here. In this section, I'm going to be talking about my plans to support you as your Executive Director. So let's get stuck in. So the big picture, as always with HBA, our vision is thriving broadcasting organisations, supporting recovery and promoting good health and well-being. And our mission is to support, inform, represent and develop. To this end, we've kind of got short-term and long-term goals at the moment. And in the short term, we're looking to strengthen you as our current membership as we emerge from COVID and its repercussions. And in the long term, we're looking to broaden our membership to healthcare broadcasters. And that's going to give us a stronger voice because we're going to be representing more people. And it's also going to provide the options for moving more towards community healthcare broadcasting if that's what you choose for your station. We are not pushing anyone down any pathway. Let me make that clear. What we're saying is we want to provide you with the options. Now, we're quite keen to provide this as an option and as a pathway to reflect what's currently happening in the health service, going towards integrated community partnerships, and also this idea of having a national health service, not a national hospital service. So every goal needs good leadership, and my approach is that I'm from a community worker background, which means I don't do things for people, I help people to do things for themselves. And that means people make their own decisions. So, like I say, we're not here to push you down any pathway. What we are here to do is share the options and then help you to act on the decisions you make and make sure those are accessible. We're also here to really shout about your value, and that's to the hospitals, that's to the media, that's to MPs, and also just to the general public. And we're also here to shout about your needs, so to help you get funding. We're also really here to value you and hopefully keep you motivated through the hard times, and also to help you value your volunteers and show that we value them too, because an organisation is only as good as its volunteers. And we're also here to bring you together because there is a staggering amount of knowledge going on within this room. So let's just take stock for a moment. Is hospital radio in decline? Well, we've got some opportunities and threats, and I'd say they're fairly balanced on each side. We've got the removal of bedside units, but we've got new technologies coming in. We've got Wi-Fi Spark developing new bedside units, providing Wi-Fi, working out how people can best use their personal devices. And also lots of you have been really innovative with Raspberry Pis and Orange Pis, and are doing all kinds of things to make sure that you can spread your radio as far as possible. At the moment, sadly, yes, there are fewer volunteers, but I'm really confident that the passionate core of volunteers that remains is going to build back stronger, and I'm here to help you do that. And we also have some depleted funds, but we've got some new avenues there because things are opening up again and there's a renewed enthusiasm. Everyone wants to get out and do things this summer because they can. And also I am from a grants fundraising background, so I can offer support and advice and information in those areas. And we also have a bit of a lack of awareness problem. Not a lot of people realise that hospital radio is still ongoing because the majority of the advertising for it relies on word of mouth. The thing is, those people who are aware really love it. So I think what we need to do is harness their voices and see what we can do in terms of giving them a sort of megaphone to share their opinions and ideas. And finally, the changing face of healthcare. Yes, we are moving to more of a community model of healthcare. And it's a case of, do you want to be a friend by the bedside, or do you also want to be a friend by the bedside and by the fireside? And So the deciding factor really in whether hospital radio is in decline is you. People think that Darwin said that it was the survival of the fittest, and that's not true. What he actually said was, it's not the survival of the strongest, it's not the strongest nor the most intelligent, it's the one that's most adaptable to change that survives. That's the one who is not adaptable to change, and we can all feel sometimes like we're going round in circles. So I think hopefully the resources and things that I will be able to provide and the volunteers will be able to help with from HBA should offer new perspectives. And like I say, the main question that needs to be answered first everywhere is what direction you want to take, whether you want to pursue being a stellar jewel in the crown of hospital broadcasting, or whether you want to widen be healthcare broadcasting, which still contains hospital broadcasting, but it's the rest of the crown as well as the jewel in the crown. And I say the jewel in the crown because I feel that the connection to patients that hospital broadcasting provides will always be at the centre of what makes healthcare broadcasting. So now we've taken stock, let's think about taking action. And I've divided this into support and information, representation and development, because they are our key areas of mission. So we're going to be offering some redesign services. Our specialist advisor service is currently quite hard to navigate. So hoping to put together some new behind the scenes processes to make that more accountable and more measurable, so we can use the information on what questions we're getting to then provide resources and offer you with a single point of access help desk. So you don't need to know who you need to go to. You can just come and say, I need help with this, and we'll find the right person to help you. We're also going to have far more downloadable resources tailored to your needs and at your request. You can also share your resources there if you're really proud of something that you've created. We're going to be improving the shared programming by making it searchable. So you don't have to rifle through a PDF, although there will still be a rifleable PDF to rifle through should you wish. And also certificates. Of course, we'll be continuing with our long service certificates. We're going to make this a bit more self-service so you can get them automatically. And also we're going to be providing certificates for recognition, because you don't have to be with a radio station for 5 or 10 years to make an impact. And we want to recognise those newcomers who are doing some wonderful things. We'll be keeping with the old favourites, of course. The awards have been announced now, the shortlists. Take a look at the video if you haven't already. We'll be continuing to provide grants for those most in need or those hoping to scale up. And conference will be back in 2023, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting you all. We've also got some new services. We've been starting Monday night socials. I say social, we get together and talk about hospital radio issues, and sometimes have speakers, sometimes have workshops, but it's an opportunity for peer support as much as for HBA to be providing things. We're also going to have a new training portal, which I'm very excited about. We looked at some stock training and found that it just wasn't suitable, and in my opinion it wasn't good enough for you guys. So we've been designing our own training and building that, and that will be certificated. There'll be some things for station managers, volunteer coordinators and volunteers in general, and that's been in response to the survey that I put out, and people put forward ideas of what they'd like to see in that. So we've been acting on that. And finally, we're going to be offering you a podcast platform, which means if you want to make a podcast, you can host it for free. with us rather than paying £50 to £100 for hosting with another company. So that will all be part of your membership. Representation is a continuation of what we're doing, but we will be able to have capacity for a bit more now that I'm in post. So we're going to be lobbying for support from MPs, making sure that the interests of hospital radio are heard with Ofcom and other regulators and stakeholders. Grant McNaughton will be continuing to negotiate with PRS and PPL. He goes to see them face to face to speak to them on our behalf. And I do pass on anything that comes out of social media or the emails or our meetings to ensure that he knows the key priorities for you. And we're going to continue to support you to represent yourselves. We have a wonderful comms team, Ian and Wayne, and they will be continuing to offer help for you to send out your own press releases and ensure that the hyperlocal and the community aspects of communication are done while we deal with the national ones. To this end, you should be having a new logo to add to your communications because we're rebranding to put a more modern and professional face on hospital radio. Thank you to those who've been involved in focus groups, and also we're very near the end of that process, so that's going to be a very exciting thing to have to launch. And we're going to have a new blog to relaunch the on-air communications, which is going to allow people to tailor the newsletter content that they receive to their interests, which makes people more likely to actually read it, which is fantastic. And finally, development. We want to help you navigate new technologies and see how they could apply where you are. We're also willing to assist with the SSDAB licenses and provide the free podcasting, because we see that as a really positive development as well. And for your volunteers, we're also going to be looking at offering media career development assistance for volunteers. I was a career coach in a previous life. I also used to work for the Film and TV charity, so that's something I'm glad to offer my skills in. And the keys to actually getting this done are our new brand, the data I've been asking for from you. I'm sorry to ask so many questions, but it's because I do have a use for all of the answers. I'm not collecting data for data's sake. So thank you for those who have filled that in. Skilled volunteers. We need volunteers just like you do. If you know anyone who'd be interested, please do keep an eye out on our opportunities. And most importantly, all of our new services need a home. And so we are looking at a new website that will be easy to navigate, a really amazing front page to present hospital radio to the world, and a really functional space where you can find help, resources and learning and make contact. So finally, taking responsibility. It's my responsibility, as I see it, to provide empowering services and access to services in response to your need, and also to make sure that our stakeholders see your needs and your value. In return, because this is a two-way street, I believe you have responsibilities as members, and one of those is to read your newsletter. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and sometimes I think there's almost too much stuff in there, but we are sending out things that we believe are important. I also need you to share your needs and successes. If I don't know what you need, I can't act on it. And engage with the services. I'm making these training videos for you, so I really hope you use them and enjoy them. And all of our volunteers be really keen to see how many people use what they create, and then provide feedback so we can continuously improve. Also, it's not just for stations, it's also volunteers, so please get them to sign up. To that end, I work for you. This is my email address. This is my telephone number. You are always welcome to contact me. And that's about that.